Hi, I'm Sophie, and welcome to another Bookish adventure. It's the 1st of March, which means it's time for Realmathon. Realmathon is a readathon created by Covers with Cassidy, a competitive team-based readathon where 4 realms have to compete against each other and fight against each other, and only one can survive at the end of the month. And this year it's based on Dungeons and Dragons, where different classes compete against each other in the Crucible, which is a trial we have to survive. I am on Team Mages. Each team has 2 prompts that give them extra points next to the long lists of prompts: defend your own realm or attack another realm. I picked Team Mages because of one of the bonus prompts, which is read a book with a school setting. It's one of my favorite things in books ever, and so I had to do a reading vlog where I read only books with school settings. I picked up 3 books. I will be reading more for Realmathon, but I want to leave a little bit of room in the month to mood read, because Realmathon is a very good readathon for mood readers. So if you're a mood reader and you have trouble participating in readathons because of the prompts being too restrictive, Realmathon has long lists of prompts you can pick from, and you can really just read a book afterwards, see which prompts it fits. Picked up 3 books with school settings. I have a lot of them on my TBR, but these 3 all have a little bit of a different vibe, and they all fit the 2 bonus prompts for my team. So we have a book with a school setting, but we also have a book with foiling on the cover for Team Mages, and these all have foiling on the cover, so more points for my team. The first one is the second book in the Maxton Hall series by Mona Kasten. I really love these German covers of the books. I've been putting this book off for a while, so it's time that I get to it. And since it has foiling on the cover, I thought, what better time to read it than for Realmathon in March. Then we have a middle grade fantasy. I don't read a lot of middle grades, but I found this one, Amari and the Night Brothers, in a secondhand bookstore, and I had store credits, so I thought, why not pick it up for free and give it a shot? Because I heard a lot of good things about this. You can see it has a little bit of foiling here, but it also has foiling here. So yeah, that's book 2, Amari and Night Brothers. And then the last book we have is the one I'm the most excited about. It's a 5-star prediction, even though I haven't read anything from this author yet. And that's Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wong. Also a gorgeous cover. And I mean, there's foiling here. I'm not sure if there's beneath this jacket. No, this is a foiling on the cover. I've seen this book on so many best of the year lists, and it sounds right up my alley. It's an adult fantasy standalone. Love that. And it's also a bit of dark academia. I know that it's about the first woman who goes to this magical school, so only men are permitted to use magic in this world. And she gets in, but then she gets a janitor as a mentor because they don't take her seriously. I know that this is a lot about discrimination. I think she finds a lot of things out about the people in power. Not really sure, but everything I've heard about it, I think I'm going to love this one. So I'm really excited to read this one in this vlog. I think I'm going to start with the middle grade, Amari and the Night Brothers. Not only because I'm reading at the moment 2 contemporary romances, so not the right time to start Maxton Hall, and I'm also reading a cozy romantasy, adult cozy romantasy. This is the most different I can get for in this stack, so let's start with this one. This also is the one that doesn't only fit the 2 bonus prompts from my team, but it also fits the bonus prompt that every team has, which is read a book with a competition or a trial in it. I remember when I was picking books for this vlog that there was mention of a competition in the synopsis. Yeah, now she must compete for a spot against kids who've known about magic their whole lives, so she has to compete against classmates to get into this magical school, I think. Don't know a lot about this, but I'm excited. First update on Amari and the Night Brothers. I've taken the dust jacket off because I always do that when I'm reading a hardcover book. I made it up until page 74, so I read the first 8 chapters. And this is very fun. Feels very nostalgic to me, even though I've never read it before. It reminds me of the middle grade I read as a kid. I think if I would have read this as a kid, okay, it wasn't published then, but I would have been already obsessed with it at this point. So really fun, reads very quickly. I'll tell you a little bit about what it's about. So we follow Amari, and Amari pushes a girl the last day of school before summer vacation because this girl has been bullying her for a while, but she says, like, your missing brother, who's been missing for 6 months, is dead. That really pisses Amari off because she believes her brother is still alive. So her mother has to come to school. There's like a talk with the principal, and her scholarship is revoked for next year, which is a problem because Amari's family isn't rich at all. Her mom is a single mom. Brother is, I think, like 10 years older than her, but he's missing. So they think his disappearance has something to do with his mysterious job that Amari and her mom know nothing about. Summer vacation starts, and the first day of summer vacation, someone knocks on the door with a delivery for Amari. He says that it's a package from her brother and that she will find it in his closet. This is already like a really weird interaction because, like, who is this man and how is a package in the closet suddenly? The first little glimpse of magic we get. And then there is a package in the closet, and it has like a suit and sunglasses and also a letter from her brother telling her that she's nominated for like this summer school camp that she has to go to for an interview. There she discovers that her brother was actually a supernatural agent working for the Bureau of Supernatural Affairs. Summer school is actually something to teach the kids, mostly of parents who already know about the supernatural world, but Quinton, her brother, was someone whose family wasn't already involved in this, to like teach them, and then later they can get employed by this bureau. Now at the point of the book that she has just arrived at summer camp, she's met her roommate Elsie, who is a rare dragon, has not shifted yet. So also already a really fun character to follow. Reads very quickly because it's middle grade. It's a lot of fun. We've already seen a lot of supernatural creatures because in the package from her brother there were also eye droplets to give her true sight. So now she can see all the supernatural creatures that are hidden in plain sight because they wear disguises and look human to everyone else, but they're actually not. She is at the summer camp primarily because she wants to find out what happened to her brother. Curious to see where that will take us, and I will update you when I have read a little bit more. Hi, I'm here for another update. For you it hasn't been that long, but for me it has been a while. It's actually the 18th of March now, and I'm still reading Amari and the Night Brothers, but I have finished 2 other books for Realmathon. Those just weren't in this vlog because they don't have school settings. And last week I went to Disneyland. I bought this sweater in Disneyland. I didn't film any footage there for B-roll because I just wanted to live in the moment. I only took a couple of pictures for Bookstagram, but I barely read anything last week, so that's why it's been a while since I've updated this vlog. After Disneyland I just needed a few days to recover, but I'm back to reading now, and I am on page 280 of Amari and the Night Brothers. So I'm over halfway through now, and I thought I'd update you now one last time before I finish this one. I just read the scene, at the beginning of the book there's this picture, like this is the title page, and then you have this picture, and I just read this scene Finally, because I kept wondering, when are we getting this? Is this going to be a flying carpet? There is a flying carpet. So, very good scene. Still enjoying this. Took it to Disneyland with me, but I think I read one chapter on the train ride there. And it has nothing to do with the book. It was just me being busy and tired. In the synopsis, there's a mention of a competition. So Amari has to compete with her classmates to get a spot in the Bureau of Supernatural Affairs. You can choose different departments. She has chosen to become a special agent, which is one of the most difficult things to achieve in the Bureau of Supernatural Affairs, but that's what her brother was. So she thinks I have the best chance of finding any information about his disappearance in that department. And we've gotten the first trial. There are 3 trials. Very fun. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil anything. But in that first trial, she gets like a partner because special agents always work in pairs. And I like him, but I'm also kind of afraid that he might be secretly evil. I'm not sure. This is a middle grade, so maybe that's a betrayal that's too big. I don't know. I think there will be a betrayal in the Bureau. I just don't know who it is yet. But yeah, like the characters, like the world, it reads quickly and I'm enjoying myself. I don't think it will be a 5-star read for me just because it's a middle grade and it probably would have been a 5-star when I read it as a kid, but I don't think it will be quite that high now. But I'm having a great time. And I'm hoping to update you sooner and not like in a week or something like that, because I do want to read my other 2 books for this vlog and I hope that I will still be able to do that. Maybe I will have to skip Blood Over Brighthaven, but then I will read it in April for another vlog because I really want to read that book. Okay. I'll update you next once I have finished Amara and the Night Brothers. I finished Mari and the Night Brothers in the park today. It's very nice weather today, so I thought I'd film this update outside. I'm giving this book a high 4 stars. Like, it's very close to 4.5, but not quite there, so high 4 stars. I thought the ending was very intriguing. It had me hooked. I was turning the pages very fast in the park. I thought this was like a very good middle grade. Obviously, I don't read a lot of middle grade, so I can't really compare it to a lot of things except to the things I've read when I was younger. And like I said before, I think that I would have been obsessed when I had read this as a kid. But now it was just a very good palate cleanser, very good adventure. I also really liked that there was this kind of theme where the main character experiences a lot of discrimination, both in our world and in the supernatural world. And there's this theme of you can get angry about it, which is very normal, and have feelings of revenge, which the main character experiences. But you can also like change people's minds about you through your actions. I also really like that like the antagonist and our main character Amari have something in common. something I always really like in antagonists, because then you can really see like Amara could take a different path, make different decisions, and become a villain. But she makes different decisions than the villain and decides to be good. There were a few things that were predictable, but there were also a few things that took me by surprise. So I really like that, because middle grade, I think like the predictable things, they didn't bother me because they were still executed well, and I still liked reading them. Actually, this was very successful. This also got me a lot of points for the mages. So let's see, because I've written down my points. I filled this in earlier. I've gotten 40 points for the pages, because this was just over 400 pages. And then I decided to attack the clerics, and that's for 47 points, because this book fits all 3 bonus points. It has a competition and trials in it. It has a school setting, like a summer camp, but it's really like a school. And it also has foiling on the cover. So those are all the bonus prompts for the mages, which are already 30 points. And then I decided to use it for icon on the spine between the author's name and the title of the book. So you can see there's Amari on the spine between the author's name and the title. I've used it for POC author. I've used it for a character, the hidden identity. I can tell more about that, but there is a character with a hidden identity in this. I used it for read a book outside of your comfort zone, because I don't read middle grade normally. And I also used it for more pages than your last book, because the last book I submitted for Realmathon was The Ornithologist's Field Guide to Love, which wasn't in this vlog because it's not a school setting, but that had like somewhere around 360 pages, I think. So this was longer. So yeah, success. Now, the next book I'm going to be reading for this vlog will be the second book in the Maxton Hall series. I will already say that I won't be reading Blood over Brighthaven like I thought I would in this vlog, because it's already the 22nd of March, and I'm also still reading a book for a book club that's next weekend, so there really won't be time for a big fantasy book outside of this and a book club read and like an audiobook that I'm still listening to. So I think I will have read in total like 6 books for Realmathon, but there are only 2 of them will have been in this vlog, which wasn't my plan, but life happens. So this is a sequel to Maxton Hall. I've read the first book a year and a half ago. Don't really remember, but I've been putting this one off because the last book ended in a way that made me a little bit scared to read this. That I'm hesitant because I don't know if I will still ship the 2 main characters because of something that happened at the end of the last book, but I still want to continue because I want to see how the author will handle it, and maybe she will redeem the love interest and I will still like him, but like at the end of the book he did something that I really hate. So this will be the second book. It's a gorgeous German edition. It also has like gorgeous end pages. So we have this and this, and there's also a quote on the back. I'm reading this in German, which is the original language, but these have been translated in Dutch. Not sure if they have been translated into English. I'm reading them in German because I actually studied German at university. Don't read a lot of books in German anymore, but I try to, from time to time, still read some. So I'm really happy to have this series that has been written in German originally. So yeah, I will talk to you again once I've started this and I have something to say about it. I realized that I actually didn't tell you what the Maxton Hall series is about in the last clip, so let me correct that. The Maxton Hall series by Mona Kasten is a new adult romance, I would say, a trilogy, and we follow Ruby Bell, who is a scholarship student at Maxton Hall, which is this very prestigious high school. Her dream is to study at Oxford, so that's why she really wanted to get into this high school. But like, I think she's probably not the only scholarship student there, but like one of the only scholarship students. And obviously her background is very different from all of these rich and privileged kids. So she kind of like keeps low profile, focuses on her studies. The love interest is James Beaufort, who is like this very popular rich kid who has like a little player reputation, not too bad. So I would say that this is kind of like a good girl, bad boy romance. But James is not like extremely bad boy. Also, this isn't like a dark romance at all. But it is a very angsty romance, I would say. And in the first book, Ruby obviously knows who James is. But James doesn't really know about Ruby. But they meet for the first time or talk to each other for the first time when Ruby witnesses something that she actually shouldn't have, so she knows something. And James tries to pay her, give her money, so that she will keep this secret, which she obviously refuses. Not that she's going to tell the press anything about what she saw, but that's how they meet each other. Like, James is from this family that have this like giant fashion emporium. And he actually has a very difficult time with his family. His dad is a really mean person, and they want him to take over the family company, but he actually doesn't have any interest in that. James seems like this very rich, privileged boy to the outside world, but on the inside, like, he does have a lot of issues, so I did like that he's a little bit of a more complex character. I'm actually now 160 pages into the second book, and I am enjoying it, but it is sometimes a little bit too angsty for me. I am not that into angsty romance. I think I like my contemporary romance a little bit more like fluffy, or like maybe not very fluffy, but like wholesome, maybe tackling some difficult topics, but not this very angsty, dramatic romance. That's most of the time not really my thing. And here, at the beginning of the book, James and Ruby have broken up because of what happened in the first book. And like, we see Ruby, like, who is staying in bed for 3 days, not going to school. Skipping school is like a very big deal for her. And I don't really like it when we get to see that in romances, because I don't think that's healthy behavior. And I can handle it when it's more like in like literary fiction or like a tragedy or something like that, when people are so heartbroken that they can't function anymore. But I don't really like reading that in my contemporary romances. But I think that this book kind of like walks a fine line between the things I like and I don't like, because Ruby does pull herself out of it. She doesn't stay in this state of like wallowing in her sadness for too long. That's why I think I'm still enjoying this. So it does has its moments that I'm a little bit like, I'm not sure if I really like this, but there's enough for me to still want to keep reading and enjoy it, because I really do like Ruby as a character. She's like very committed to her studies, very organized, planned. The way she's like reacting to everything, except for like the staying in bed for 3 days. I think her emotions are very relatable and understandable. Not sure if I really ship them as much as I did in the first book, but I also not hating how the author is handling what happened in the first book, like I was kind of dreading. So I'm curious to see where it will go. I think there is a possibility for me to ship Ruby and James again. There's also like other things going on with James' sister, whose POV we actually get in this book. I don't remember her POV in the first book. I thought that was just dual POV. Maybe I'm remembering that wrong. But we do get her POV from time to time. And I think that actually adds something to the story. I also really like her as a character. I gave the first book 3.5 stars, and that would have been a 4 stars if the ending had been different. I'm not sure where this will land. At this moment, I think I like it a little bit less than the first book, but also not like hating it or like having really big issues with it. So we'll see how that goes. I will update you again once I've read more and I have something to say. Also possible that I will talk to you once I've finished it. It will depend on how much I have to say throughout the book. I've read another 100 pages in Maxton Hall Save You, and I don't know how I'm feeling about this. Ruby and James have made up. Like, that was the last chapter I read. But I'm not convinced that they talk things through enough. For me, it feels a bit weird, and it also feels like Ruby's feelings have changed too quickly. Not that there hasn't been any build-up, but it wasn't enough for me. So that's a bummer. I hope that I will still enjoy like the last, I think I have like a little bit more than 100 pages left, but definitely not as good as the first book for me. What I did like is that we also got a little bit from Ruby's sister, so her POV, and that I did enjoy, but I don't know if I shipped the romance. I'm not sure. That was my very quick update. I will talk to you again once I finished it and read those last 100 pages, and I hope that I will like it a little bit more, because at this point I don't know if I want to read the third book, and I own it and I have this very pretty edition, so a bit sad. Finished Maxton Hall Save You. I'm giving it a low 3 stars. So I think I told you in the previous clip that I gave the first book in the series 3.5 stars, and that it would have been a 4 stars if the ending had been different. I just really didn't like the second half of this book. It's still 3 stars because I really like these characters. I love reading and following them. But the plot of this book is a 2 stars, I think, because I don't really know what the point of this book was, and like the twist at the end, it's going to be the conflict of the third book. I don't think I really like it. It's very different than in the first book, so it's not that I don't like the love interest. But like I said, I did think that Ruby and James got together a little bit too quickly, that Ruby's feelings changed from like one chapter to the next. I needed them to talk things through a little bit more than they did. I'm not really sure if I want to read the third book. I own it. It's somewhere, I think it's over there on the shelf. I think you can see it. I have these beautiful editions. I'm not sure. It's not an immediate no, so I'm not going to unhaul these immediately. I'm just going to think about it a little while longer and then see if maybe I do want to read the third book, because there's a part of me that still wants to know how this series ends. I just don't know if that part is strong enough to pick the third book up, but it was a little bit disappointing. It did give me some points for the mages. With this one I decided to defend the mages. So I got 20 points because this book is 370 pages, so between 200 and 400, which is 20 points. Then I used it for the prompt Second Chances, because Ruby and James broke up at the end of the first book, and then in this book we get like a second chance at their romance, so I think that counts. Structural openings on the cover, which is 3 points. Did I say second chance is 4 points? And structural opening is 3 points, and there is like a building here with doors and windows, so I would say that that counts. I used it for read a book from an author's backlist, which is 2 points. I used it for read a book in a different format than your previous book, because the last book, not the one I read in this vlog, but the last book I finished and submitted for Realmathon was an audiobook. And this was a physical read, so that's 2 points. And then I used it for multi-POV because this has 4 POVs, which were 2 points. So that's a total of 13 points for the prompts. And then this had the bonus points of school setting and foiling on the cover. So that's 20 points. No competition or trial. So for a total of 53 points for the mages. So that's pretty good, I would say. So yeah, that's it for this vlog. So I read 2 books instead of 3. First read Amari and the Night Brothers, gave this one a high 4-star. Was a surprise actually that I enjoyed this so much, that this was really a win. Then I read the second book in the Max and Hall series, which I gave a low 3-star. So a little bit of a disappointment. Not sure if I'm going to continue the series. And then I didn't get to Blood Over Bridehaven, but I am participating in Magical Readathon by Book Roast in April. And Blood Over Bridehaven fits one of the prompts. And this is also now a book club pick for April. So I have to read it in April. So this will be in my next vlog, so watch out for my Magical Readathon vlog, because then you will get my thoughts on Blood Over Bridehaven. I'm so excited about this one. So yeah, my little stack of books. 2 I read, 1 I didn't get to. If you made it this far in the video, leave me like a school-related emoji in the comments if you don't know what else to say, just to let me know that you were here. Like, I think there's a school building, or like a pencil or something like that. And let me know if you've participated in Realmathon and which team you were on. I hope it's the mages, because that's the right team. And yeah, that's it. If you want to see more from me, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification so you know when my vlog for Magical Readathon is going up. And I will see you in whatever comes next.